Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video where today we're here exploring more of the 2025 Season 1 iRacing content. Yes, this time round we are here with the all-new Ford Mustang Gen 3 Supercar. Now, for those of you that have been around the channel for a little while, you'll know I actually started driving this car towards the end of last generation's car, towards the end of last year. So I'm hoping this new car is going to be just as fun to drive. Honestly, the old Gen 2 cars were some of my favourite inside the sim. It was a shame their popularity was never that great. There were always a few issues with them that meant that real-life Australian supercar drivers tended to complain with the way they handled, but I decided today, we're going to bring some Australian power here to Thruxton. Obviously, a very small British circuit, of course, like every other British circuit. It's based around an airfield, so this is going to be quite an interesting combo today. Of course, if you're new, please do make sure you leave a like, get yourself subscribed. We've got a few more videos coming, testing out some of the new cars in the sim. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this one. I'm very, very excited to see how this car is going to handle then. So as we make our way out of the pit lane, now normally when I use these cars, I actually use my sequential shifter. They still do use them IRL in the series as well. So yeah, I'm sure when I do some racing in this thing, that is going to be what I do. And immediately I'm remembering just how loose and lively these cars are as well, which I absolutely love. You know, these were, or I think are still, some of the last remaining truly difficult cars to drive, you know, in sort of circuit racing. You can make the argument as well for NASCARs. To be honest, these things and those now are very, very similar, actually, in the grand scheme of things. But yeah, Australian supercars, I love kind of the mentality. You know, as most of the racing series, the cars have become easier to drive and more sophisticated. This series absolutely hasn't now. It might be one of the few remaining positives of the Australian Supercar series in the last few years. Unfortunately, no new cars now are built in Australia. Holden, I believe it was, shut their last plant a couple of years ago. So you don't get Holden versus Ford anymore. You get Chevrolet versus Ford. And it's the Camaro versus the Mustang, which are not cars exactly I would associate with Australia as well. So it is a little bit of a shame kind of in that regard that it kind of feels like this series is almost running on borrowed time now. There's still a lot of interest in it down under as well, which I guess is obviously a very, very good thing as well, and might well be one of its last remaining saving graces. But yeah, it would not sadly surprise me whether at some point in the not too distant future this series kind of dies. I really don't want to be too kind of pessimistic and everything like that, but yeah, it kind of just that it's no longer really Australian supercars necessarily, as clearly the carb takes offense to that, and he's going to try and spit me out. Now, I always use the Ford inside iRacing during the Gen 2 era. This thing, I tell you what, upset the rear end, and it will just keep trying to rotate around on you. So I've only bought the Ford again. I imagine this and the Camaro will obviously handle very, very similarly. You know, in just the way the cars are built in the BOP, everything like that. These cars are going to be, I mean, near identical in terms of overall performance. They've got the same power figures, they weigh the same, everything like that. There might be a few little nuances and differences, but, you know, they're going to be pretty much identical. And, well, I'd like to be a Ford loyalist inside iRacing. For some reason, I use this. I use the Ford Mustang in NASCAR as well. So I'm not a Ford loyalist IRL or anything like that. It just kind of seems to be the way that things have gone down inside the sim. But yeah, I must admit, immediately I'm reminded of just how fun these cars are when you're really trying to hang them on the edge there. There'll definitely be some videos in the next few weeks racing inside this series as well, because these are, I think, still the ultimate test of, if you can drive these in iRacing, you can pretty much drive anything, and that's a good thing. I like to challenge myself at the end of the day as well. There's, I mean, Thruxton as well. Haven't made any mention of the circuit so far. I love this place. Fun fact, I believe this was the very first racetrack I ever went to many, many years ago. I still vaguely remember it now. My dad took me to see the British touring cars here. I can't even remember what year it was. I want to say it was 2007. I just remember I was a big Jason Plato fan back in the day. But I couldn't even tell you whether he won the title that year or not. I obviously did a little bit with the British touring cars last year at Donington and had a really fun time. And hopefully it seems like the series is slowly coming back in the right direction, just generally. But yeah, Thruxton is a really, really cool and really, really scary venue. Now, Silverstone, for kind of most general motorsport fans, of course, is known for being a really, really high-speed circuit here in the UK. This place is just as ridiculous in terms of top end. In fact, it's probably actually quicker. Obviously, if you put identical machinery on both of the venues, I would imagine this place might actually have a slightly higher average speed as well. Although there are some slow corners early on in the lap, if you come here with something with a bit more downforce, so much of the lap, pretty much from here on, is flat out as well. I mean, look at how much we're just struggling to try and keep this thing pointing in the right direction. It is constantly just trying to rotate around on us. I keep forgetting that corner is a bit tighter than I ever remember it being as well, so trying to just get used to it as best as I can. Come on, get the nose working somewhere, please. I love the livery as well. That is one of the good things about doing all these videos a few weeks late, is that already there's tons of great liveries for them as well on trading paint. So yeah, that's obviously a really, really nice welcome addition as well. Now, obviously this circuit is going to be very, very popular with the touring car class inside iRacing. I think you're going to probably see, you know, upwards of Formula 4, maybe Formula 3. They might try and run Formula 3 here, but it might just be a little bit kind of too twisty and narrow for that to really work. Ow. Somehow, well, I mean, these things are built pretty tough, so we'll get away with that. But, yeah, I would have thought, you know, Formula Ford as well, that'll be very popular here. And a few other kind of lower-end tin top series as well. So, I think that Thruxton will probably get a bit more use than, obviously, Cadwell Park that came to the sim last season as well. Ultimately, an Australian Supercar might be a little bit too big for this venue. I've noticed as well just how sensitive this car feels over the curbing. Now, obviously, I'm not running a setup or anything like that, so it is taking a little bit of getting used to. And obviously, you know, a setup will make it far more drivable and probably a bit more forgiving as well and a bit more flexible. But yeah, I mean, it is a joy to just chuck around on this circuit as well. Like, you know, it's got a V8 still. It sounds really good. Not as good as the old car, I will admit. They do seem to sound just a little bit more tame nowadays. But yeah, I think this is going to serve as a popular replacement, I think, for the old Gen 2 cars. Like I said, yeah, I'm definitely going to be giving them a go in some races as well. There's been, look at this big speed up and towards the final couple of corners. Upwards of 160 miles an hour there as you try and slow the car down. And I mean, this final chicane as well is such a welcome addition to the circuit as well. Obviously, it just allows you, there's been so many IRL races that have been decided at the final corner because of that chicane as well. You know, British touring cars in Formula Racing. I mean, they do Porsche Cup here as well, obviously as part of the British Touring Car Support Series roster as well. So maybe we could see Porsche Cup racing around here as well over the next few seasons. But yeah, I love Thruxton. It's such a good venue. It's one I think that goes really under the radar. Obviously, if you live in the UK and you're a motorsport fan, you've definitely heard of it. But you know, there's no international series or anything like that that I'm aware of that come to this venue, and it does now mean that there is, I think, really only 2 more tracks that I want to see from the UK inside iRacing. That being obviously Croft, because then I believe we do have the entire British touring car lineup of tracks as well, which would be a very, very cool thing. And for more personal reasons, I want to see Castle Combe in sim as well, because that is kind of my local circuit, and that would be really, really cool to be able to do laps around Castle Combe as well. I mean, I highly doubt Castle Combe will ever come to the sim, but I'd love to believe, and I do occasionally see people on like Reddit and stuff asking for Castle Combe as well there. But yeah, let's try and go for one big final lap then. Just see, I mean, you can't even get full throttle there in 3rd gear. It's still trying to escape round on you. Down in towards someone there, really attack the curbing on the inside, allow the car Oh, to run right into the grass on the exit, but not that much. Using the rear end slide to open up the run in towards turn 2 there. It's just trying to get it slowed down through 3 and through 4. Just be careful over the curb and on the exits. We try and just dance on that throttle there on the exit. Nice and easy. She will absolutely try and over-rotate underneath you if you are set there. A little bit of a breakdown into third gear through that left-hander there. A bit of a kind of anomaly on this circuit. And then I'll just see the understeer as we make our way out towards this fast back section of the lap. I mean, so much of this circuit is dominated by this section of road there. Trying to open up the line, just nick the rear wheel on the grass on the way through as we try and open up the rotation there into what is a DRS zone. I can't see many series coming here with cars with DRS capabilities, but that'll be interesting to see there as again on the brakes, just about the 100-meter board there. Just really got to try and rotate the car in a horrible braking zone because you're trying to slow down and turn the car in there nice and easy over the curb. Mash your foot to the floor up towards the line. That is going to be a 1:18.7 there. I'm happy with that lap. You know what? We will take that at the end of the day. But thank you all so much for watching this video. Let me know your thoughts and feelings on the all-new Ford Mustang as well, or either of the Australian Supercars inside iRacing. I will be back tomorrow, hopefully with the Acura NSX GT3, and I completely forgot, of course, we've got the all-new free content with the BMW M2 as well there, but let's just quickly see, how does this thing do donuts? Of course it does donuts properly. It's an Australian Supercar. It's what they're meant to do. Yeah, we'll be back very soon with a brand new video. I'm definitely going to have to do some proper races in this thing.